The title of today's message is Do Something Radical. Do something radical. Hey, before I get into this, let me tell you what I'm not saying. I'm not calling for a radicalization of people to blow things up, to do great bodily harm to people or situations. And I realize this message may not be for about 20% of my audience, although there's going to be something that you're going to hear that's going to help you. But if you tend to have a debt mindset or your impulsiveness gets you in trouble and you're addicted to excitement and you don't tend to follow through on commitments, then this message, the bulk of this message is not going to be for you. But I believe 80% of you, this message is going to be really, really powerful. Do something radical, do something extreme, do something out of the ordinary. I mean, you look in the Bible and you can see all kinds of people who did things that were radical. Abraham left his homeland and took off for a direction, and God says, I'm not going to tell you where you're going. He just left, and he started moving. Obviously, all of the disciples whom Jesus chose made a radical decision. They left everything. Peter said, Lord, if it's you, tell me to come. He made a radical decision, and he walked on water. You can look at David making a radical decision to confront Goliath. Wow. And on and on and on. There's people in the Bible. There's, I've heard stories of people who've, got up on airplanes and preached the gospel, given away large amounts of money, or gone on, just in making the radical decision to run a marathon, or even longer distances than a marathon, and just punishing their body seemingly. Or I know in my own life, I've made many radical decisions, and I want to keep making them. I remember when I was pastoring one of our churches, and we decided to make the radical decision to give away our offering. The bulk of our offering that Sunday to pastors in our community. And we had the largest offering that we had up to that point. After I didn't even announce it. We just announced it that Sunday at church, and it was radical. I remember making the radical decision to break up with my girlfriend, Wendy, because we were battling purity issues and we wanted to put Jesus first. And we made that decision. We broke up for a year. We weren't even planning on getting back together, and God brought us back together and we got married. We don't regret that. Made a radical decision to quit my job that I had because just God told me to quit. I had no other reason. And I quit. My wife was pregnant. We already had one small child, but it was radical. And by the way, the greater the risk we take, the greater the word we need. And I believe that as I was preparing for this and just had the words, do something radical, I believe that this podcast is not just a teaching, it's a prophetic call. It's going to have something on it that's going to energize you, that's going to cause you to do something, to break out of the ordinary, the routine in your life. I mean, there's people who have gone on fasts that have been radical. There's people who have started businesses and had a radical idea for an invention and invested in that. And I do believe that this podcast, this teaching has an edge on it, has an anointing on it, has an impartation on it that's going to cause you to do something out of the ordinary. Maybe it's downsizing. Maybe it's pruning. We just pruned back a rose tree bush that we have at our house. I mean, it's just a great producer. We pruned it back. Some of you are going to make a radical decision to downsize on some things, prune some things back, prune some commitments back, and of things you normally do, that's going to make a huge, huge difference. Others of you are going to make a radical decision to go on social media, maybe to do a Facebook Live, YouTube Live every week, every month, something like that. Or make a radical decision to finish your book and get the help you need. Put some pressure on you to get it out of you. By the way, when people ask me, Steve, what's your advice about writing a book? I say, make your first book short. Get it done, make it short. So the perfectionistic attitude that so many have, well, it's got to be long, and then you just keep getting more revelation. It gets longer and longer. It never gets done. Get it done. That's a word for somebody. Others of you, there's going to be a radical decision concerning your family. You're going to make an investment in it by either reading a book together, or maybe that's not radical enough, but for some of you it is. Or going somewhere, making a radical decision of like going to Brazil with Randy Clark, or going to some other place where God is moving, taking a course. You know, we have our Backlund Leadership Academy that's going to be starting in September. It's a radical decision for some of you. It's going to be a little over $4,000, and it's a decision, hey, some of you are going to make. It's radical. Obviously, that's not the only leadership thing. Others, if you're going to go to John Maxwell, you're going to be a John Maxwell certified leader. You're going to get certified through him. That's a decision that some of you make. You know, I think about the Bethel School of Supernatural Ministry, and there's people from all over the world who've made the radical decision to come to a little city in Northern California called Redding. It has not been logical. People say, what are you doing? But it was a decision that people made. And, you know, for many people who make radical decisions like that, it doesn't feel radical. It doesn't feel out of the ordinary. Doesn't it feel extreme? But it is. It's part of who you are. Some, you know, I've heard of people climbing Mount Shasta here in Northern California. It's just a decision, just to be adventuresome, to break out of the pack in what you're doing. Now, I don't know what it is for you. I don't know if it's schooling, if it's downsizing, if it's doing something radical for Jesus, if it's a decision to invest in yourself, to finish the book. I don't know what it is for you, but I believe that even as I'm talking today, that there's something getting sparked in you to get out of routine, to get out of ruts, to get out of the same old. This is an hour where we arise and shine according to Isaiah 60. Arise and shine, for your light has come. Whew. How can you arise? Maybe the decision is to create a bucket list of 10, 20 things that you want to do before you die. Or maybe you've already done it and you've let some things go. No, now's the time. Here's what happens to people who decide to do things, decide and he will provide. I mean, Nehemiah made the radical decision, and that's recorded in Nehemiah 1 and 2 and onward, that he heard the walls of Jerusalem were down. He's a cupbearer, has a secular job. He makes a radical decision. He says, I'm going to fix that thing. And he makes a decision to go to the king. Some of you, like Nehemiah, are going to make a radical decision that you're going to fix something. You're going to go after a cause. You're going to create something, an organization, you know, and don't despise the day of small beginnings. It's a great thing. And Nehemiah did it. He decided and God provided. He got favor. He got provision. That's what some of you are going to do. Some of you have already done it, and the Lord, and you're going to take it to a higher level. Oh my. Do something radical. Do something radical. Oh my. Maybe go on a treasure hunt. Treasure hunt is just getting a piece of paper, asking God for signs, and, you have someone wearing a red shirt, someone wearing an Oakland Raider hat. You write everything down, and you just trust your instincts. You go out with a treasure map of things, and then you walk around, and then you see people who fit what you get, and then you just say, hey, I was praying, and here's you show them your treasure map, and you say, you're on it. And here's what I believe the Lord's saying to you. Wow, that's do something radical. Maybe go to an extended worship time. Maybe go to a conference that you just haven't felt like you could afford, but you're saying, man, I'm going to go to this conference. I'm deciding I'm going to go. And then watch what the Lord does. Watch him provide. Maybe it's selling something, starting to, get out of debt, making the radical decision that you're going to get out of debt, and you're going to get serious about it, and you're decide, and he will provide. Do something radical. Oh my, this is a good word. This is a word that, again, I've said it over and over. This is not just a good teaching. This is a prophetic word for you. Break out of the pack. Do something. Just do it. Oh, my. Hey, I trust you've been blessed by this word. Do something radical. Again, I'll say this is, this may not be a word for everybody. If you're an impulsive person and you find yourself, and that's one of your strengths, you're like Peter in the Bible, impulsive, saying things, doing things, but maybe you've gotten yourself in debt. We've already talked about that. Maybe you've made some decisions that you regret. Maybe you haven't stuck with some things. Do something radical and find a plan. Get somebody in your life. Others of you maybe do something radical and go after counseling. Get a sozo, get somebody in your life. Get someone anointed in deliverance and just see freedom being brought. Get somebody in your life. Do something radical by humbling yourself and saying, I need help. I need help. Get into that group. That Christian group that maybe 12 steps, celebrate recovery or something like that. Get in, get radical. Wow, I'm going to stop. Hey, if you like these podcasts, you like this one, boy, this is one to send to somebody else and say, hey, here's a good word for you. I believe there's something. It's a season to get radical. Tell somebody about it. And hey, just some things that are going on. My great associate, Connie Jones, the Igniting Hope Associate Director, John Maxwell certified leader, coach, speaker, a leader developer on that. She is starting a course, I believe it's 5 weeks, maybe 6, starting July 1st, called Reigning in Life. I mean, she's got my wife, Wendy, on it, some others on it. She has got such a powerful revelation of Romans 5:17, where it says, if we receive abundance of grace and the gift of righteousness, we'll reign in life. And it's just, if you're looking for something, just a burst of something, this could be a radical decision. Do a course with Igniting Hope Ministries or do a course with somebody else. But this course, some of you, it's going to be such a powerful blessing. Go to ignitinghopeacademy.com for information about reigning in life. And then also, we're starting up in September. I've already talked about it a little bit, the Backlund Leadership Academy. By the time this podcast comes out, you can apply to be a part of it. We're going through an application process. And I'm taking the 8 pillar. By the way, if you want to apply, you go to ignitinghopeacademy.com And this academy is taking my 8 pillars of leadership, which are inspiring and leading yourself, transformational beliefs, intentionality, healthy relationships, speaking life, faith-filled decision-making, the culture of gladness and empowerment and building big people. We're taking those 8 pillars, combining those with what we've taught and for 15 years, what I've taught at the Bethel School of Supernatural Ministry in my 3rd year program. Basically, it's an internship program. Had over 160 students be a part of that. We're going to take the concepts of our weekly meeting, and we're going to have those who are in the academy, those who apply, are going to be able to choose from 4 time slots that we have weekly, 90-minute time slots, where I will be mentoring, teaching, small groups. We're planning on 12. We're going to see how that works. It may not exactly be 12. There may be some with less. There may be some with 1 or 2 more, but that's our plan. Jesus had 12 disciples. My goal is to do 4 groups of 12. We'll see, whether the numbers line up to that, but it's going to be very near that. And it's going to be so powerful. We're going to ask people who want to be a part of the academy to have a goal as they come in of finishing a book by the end of the year, starting an online course by the end of the year, starting a regular blog, maybe a sort of business, and we're going to help coach and mentor people through that. Connie Jones, who I've already mentioned, will be there. I'm believing my brother, Dr. Phil Backlund, he's going to be giving some input into it as well. Plus our team. It is going to be so good. So if you want to check that out, go again to ignitinghopeacademy.com. Hey, we're here at Igniting Hope Ministries to ignite your hope. There are no hopeless circumstances, just people who do not have hope. And hope is the belief that the future will be better than the present, and we have the power to help make it so. The Greek meaning for the hope in the New Testament is the confident, joyful expectation that good is coming. Hope is excited about the future. The more hope you have is the more excited you'll be about the future. The less hope you'll have, the less excited. And again, there's no condemnation if we don't have hope. But a perspective of hope and joy is the fruit of good beliefs. A lack of it is like check engine light on a car. I don't get condemned when the check engine light comes on, but it's great information. In the natural in a car, we're gonna fix something. In our lives, a lack of hope and joy means we need to fix our beliefs because we're believing a lie. Because any belief system that doesn't have hope attached to it's under the influence of a lie. And remember too, the joy of the Lord is your strength. That's true. We don't need strength at the end of the battle. We need strength in the middle of the battle. For pretty much everybody listening, this is not a good season to walk in radical joy. Let me use that word again, radical joy. I've never found a convenient season to walk in radical joy. There's always a reason why today is not a good day to be joyful. Oh, I always have a reason. Either I'm disappointed in myself, other people, God. I'm frustrated. I've got unexpected things. My body's not doing what I want it to be doing. There's desires and prayers haven't been answered. It's not a good time. Joy in a more convenient season, I will call for you. Hey, we can stir up joy. Hey, let me give you 3 ways to stir up joy, to rejoice in the Lord. And again, I say rejoice always. Number 1 is through thanksgiving, through gratefulness, by focusing on what we have, focusing on what God is doing rather than focusing on what he's not doing. And focusing on what we have rather than focusing on what we don't have. The second one is very similar. We look backwards and we stir up testimony of how far we've come rather than looking at how far we need to go. Those who are constantly looking at where they need to be, what's not working out, how far they need to go, are not going to be very joyful. But those who look backward and are thankful. In my morning time today, I was just thankful. I just looked backwards and said, thank you. Thank you for all the times that you've brought me through. Thank you for how far I've come in that area, And then the third way we stir up joy is through delighting in the Lord. Psalm 37, verse 4, it says, delight yourself in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. The context of this is the delighter is delighting with unfulfilled desires. Things that he or she wants to see happen that haven't happened yet, they're called desires. Hope, faith people have hope. They're living while they're waiting. They're delighting. Woohoo! Lord, I can't wait to see what you're going to do about this situation. I can't wait to see what you're going to do. I don't know how you're going to do it, but you're going to do it. I'm so excited to see what you're going to do. Faith people who don't value hope are waiting to live. They're not living. They subconsciously believe they can only live if that desire, that outcome that they're waiting for happens. And so they're waiting to live. Now, as we live while we're waiting, it's one of the signs we're ready to steward a desire fulfilled. If we're waiting to live, it's an indicator that even if the desire comes, we're probably not going to be able to steward it well, because there's a character issue. There's a wineskin issue. You can't put new wine in an old wineskin. So the joy of the Lord is our strength. My favorite definition is my definition of joy is joy is the childlike wonder and excitement of working with God instead of for God. My, oh my, hey, just a few prophetic things that I'm hearing, and then we'll wrap this up. Thank you so much. If you're listening to the end, you are one who's really getting your hope ignited. I'm hearing this, that God is doing powerful things in Denmark. He's doing powerful things in Australia in this season. There's people within the sound of my voice who either live there or are called there, or going to be called there, or maybe not even called to go there, but are called to influence there. I'm also hearing that there's business ideas. Somebody who is not currently has a business is going to get a business. And I see a transition time of your life where you're just going to keep your regular job, and you're going to percentage-wise, you're going to be able to let go of that job and work more and more and more on your business. It's going to be a good one. It is a powerful one. And then I'm hearing that somebody who has a heating and air business, that the Lord is giving you a new idea, even a new city potentially, and may not be for everybody who's got a heating and air, but for somebody, there's a new city that you're going to do a branch in that's going to be really, really good. And I hear that the Lord is releasing supernatural debt cancellation over people. And even with some of the economy things and the inflation that people are experiencing and the pressure of that, I'm hearing that the Lord is using that pressure for some of you, because financial pressure forces new ideas out of us. You're getting a new idea of how to decrease expenses, but more importantly, how to increase income. It's happening, and it's powerful. Wow. Hey, just, if you want to stay connected with us, go to ignitinghope.com, sign up for our newsletter. You get the blog with this. You get to hear about current things happening, opportunities of how to connect with courses, other things that we're doing. If you want to be a vision partner, if you have a heart and you just feel called to, so consistently financially into Igniting Hope so we can extend our reach, you can go to ignitinghope.com and click give. And again, just if you want to give a one-time gift, that's such a blessing to us. It means so much. But even if you don't feel called to do that, that's fine too. We bless you. Thank you so much. for being a part of what we're doing. This message, do something radical. Whew, I just preached myself happy with that. Hey, God bless. Thanks so much. Looking forward to being with you again.